It is Friday, TGIF. It is Friday, November 18th. I am excited. It is the ending of another week. When I tell y'all I'm excited about it, when I tell you I'm looking forward to the rest and the relaxation that hopefully this weekend will bring, because it has been a long week, y'all. It has been a long week, okay? How has your week been? I hope it has been amazing. I hope that you guys are doing absolutely fabulous tonight. I have missed you guys all week. Oh, y'all just don't understand. I've missed y'all all week. I almost did a pop in at school, y'all. That's how much I missed y'all. How is everybody? How was your week? What's your weekend looking like? Are we talking rest, relaxation? What are we doing this weekend? Like, talk to me. Because tonight we got some things to discuss. I know I'm not the only one and I know I'm not a news person, but I know I'm not the only one who was not really shocked or baffled by what unraveled or what the verdict was of the case that we've all been following. Wasn't really surprised, wasn't really shocked by it. Kind of expected it. Um, so I thought we'd get into that tonight. Like, although it's TGI Friday, but hey, what better way to end our week than let's discuss some real stuff, y'all? Because how was work? Work was hectic for me. What was work like for you? Was it hectic? What we talking about? What we doing? You know? Um, of all the nights tonight, I had no wine. When I tell y'all I need wine tonight, I needed wine. Okay, because so let's talk about this. Let's talk about this case. Um, he got off. What else is there to say? Like, was anybody surprised? I wasn't. I kind of expected it. I kind of expected it. I didn't think that. I'm trying to think the best way to put it. There was no. I don't know. I just wasn't shocked by it at all. He cried on the stand. Okay, boo hoo. But he had been groomed all of his life for this. So I mm. It's hard to even put into words. It's really hard to even put into words. Like, this is where our country stands. This is literally where our country stands. We are able to, you look at various cases, and when you look at a lot of these various cases, the only real difference in these cases is color. It's literally only the color of a person's skin is the difference in the outcome and the difference in the verdicts of a lot of these cases. It's sad, but that's the world we live in. That is the country that we live in. There were pictures um, of how he had been groomed all of his life. The fact that as a 17-year-old, you are driven someplace with the intent to do harm to people because you don't like them or what they stand for. And to know that it's okay. Like, what message does that send? Like like really, what message does that send? To have an assault rifle. Literally an assault rifle. I'm not talking no handgun, no 9mm, no 45. I'm talking a literal assault rifle. He wasn't even from that state. Like, literally cross state lines to physically hurt people. And to know that he was found not guilty, to say that it was okay. And then, when in the history of cases have you ever known a defendant to pick their own jury? Now, that I must say baffled me. I must say that absolutely baffled me. The fact that he was allowed to pick his own jury. Never heard of. Like, all it was in cahoots. Like, how does that happen? How does that happen? Like, what? Hey, Nana, she says he had one fake tear. He knew he was going to be found not guilty. Absolutely. My opinion, I feel as if because his mother was the one who drove him there, she should have been on trial as an accessory. She should have been on trial for accessory. Because if you rob a bank, the person driving the car, they don't rob the bank with you, but because they're driving the car, they get charged as an accessory to the crime. So why was she not charged as an accessory to the crime when she drove him and his semi-automatic across state lines and dropped him off in the middle of a Black Lives Matter movement? It wasn't some you support. It wasn't some you back. So why was she not charged as an accessory? That's the question. I think throughout this entire trial, that was really the only question that I had. Because had it been reversed, hey, Novella, had it been reversed, had he looked like me or you, ain't no question. Ain't no question. It wouldn't even been a trial. There would not have even been a trial had his color been different. It wouldn't. His mama wouldn't have made it nowhere out of there. Wouldn't have made it nowhere out of there. Could you imagine if it was reversed and one of us drove into the middle of a Klan rally? I'm just saying. There's no way in the world that the mom would not have been charged as an accessory if she made it out. Let alone you picking your own jewelry because you cried fake tears. Oh my God, it's just so hard. They weren't thanking me and I was afraid. You wouldn't have been afraid if you hadn't been there in the first place. You are afraid because they were not afraid of you. That was the issue. But this just goes to show you. It wasn't surprising. It was not surprising. Hey, Danetta. Hey, Bobby. It wasn't surprising, the outcome of this case. Because here's the thing. We just had a young man granted clemency. And they waited till the wire to grant him clemency. So you knew they wasn't going to grant clemency and find him guilty? Come on now. You already know. Absolutely, Danetta. She says that verdict was sad but not surprising at all. Absolutely. I wasn't surprised. I knew it. He picked his jury. He picked people like him. He picked people that he knew was going to get him off. The judge was probably a family friend. I would not be surprised by any of that. I was just trying to figure out why it took them so long. They knew what they was going to decide anyway. They didn't have to do that overnight. They could have did that yesterday. Like what? Just as everybody seems to forget, regardless if it was a different skin color, he had one key factor to winning this. That was the reason for the fake tear and the bogus excuse. His father is a judge. See what I mean? The judge was probably a family friend. Like, it's absolute. Here's the thing. The sad part about all of this is the fact that it was not surprising. We look at cases like Breonna Taylor. They haven't even been charged. The fact that someone can come into your house while you're sleeping and gun you down in your house while you in your bed And they still try to turn it around and spin it. Well, she was dating a drug dealer and she had drugs in her house and they thought she had guns and the woman was in her bed. She was a paramedic in her house. But because it was the police, that makes it okay though, right? That makes it okay though, right? We look at cases like the woman whose home they raided had the wrong address. And they raided that woman's house. She was in her bed, sleep, naked. And they made her stand in the front room of her house, naked. Front door wide open. People coming in and out. Like, I mean, literally having her stand there naked, like she was on an auction block display in her own home. And they were at the wrong address. These are the kinds of things that we deal with. But it's okay, though. That's a problem. That is absolutely a problem. Nana says the trial was a reality show. The judge was the main character. There was definitely no justice for the families who lost their sons or the young man suffering from being shot with an AK rifle. Here's the thing. He's 17. Who bought the rifle? Whose name is the rifle in? We don't buy our kids AKs. We don't do that. Like, come on now. That's crazy. Like, Bobby says, this is typical. We knew it was going to go like this. They wasted taxpayers' time and money. They did. It was just a show. Like Nana said, it was a reality show. Bobby says, I don't know why they even tried to challenge our intelligence. I don't either. Because it was certainly not something that we were surprised by. We weren't shocked. We weren't surprised. We expected it. We awaited it. Joe says any person who literally leaves their house with an AK rifle automatically is disqualified from using self-defense. He was coached by his father on what to say and had help with the judge. You know he did. You absolutely know he was coached. He knew how to pick his jewelry. He knew who to pick for his jewelry. He knew all of that. He knew all of that. So it wasn't like, I mean, this trial was literally no different than watching a reality show on MTV or VH1. It really wasn't. Because there was nothing surprising about it. We saw the pictures. We literally saw the pictures of him as a little boy in clan wear. Was anybody really shocked? Like, it was not. Everything was just like. Now it says, I knew when the judge did not allow the gun as evidence, he was free. How stupid did the judge think people were? No weapon, no proof. But here's the thing. How do you not allow a weapon in the evidence when he was brandishing the weapon and that's what he shot people with? Like, what'd he do? Point at him and shoot at him with his fingertips? Like, really? You think we that stupid? Baby? And then it says, I remember that. Just terrible. It's absolutely gonna be fallout from this. It's gonna be fallout from this. Absolutely. The state of Wisconsin is a racist state. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Bobby says, I didn't waste my time watching it. We saw it coming. I didn't either. I didn't watch not one day. I didn't. For what? For what? Give him more publicity than he needed? No. I wasn't watching that crap because like we said, we knew what was going to happen. I just didn't expect it to take that long. That's all. I figured it would be a open shut slam dunk case. Like, oh, okay, not guilty. Them jury members just got them literally a free extra night at the hotel. That's all that was. They got them a free night at the extra night at the hotel. Cause they could have told us yesterday. We knew what they were gonna say anyway. Told them, do you all need, Madam Woman, do you all need an extra night? We don't have to do this now. What you mean they don't? Sequester them in the room. Come on. Just give us what we waiting on. Just give it to us. We already know. Like, how was I supposed to make the parents of those kids feel? Like, so it just don't matter? It just don't matter that they're gone? Their lives meant nothing? What? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. He says, hi, sis. I knew it was going to happen. If the gentleman was Afro American, he would have received life. Here's the thing, if he was black, he wouldn't have made it to trial. You know that. He wouldn't have made it to trial. A black man walking with an AK rifle. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. He wouldn't have had to lift that gun to be shot. He wouldn't have made that. Like, literally, a black man walking with an AK-47. I'm just saying. Think about it. He wouldn't even had to lift that thing before they shot him. All they would have to do was seen it. Hell, they shoot people with cell phones, so I thought it was a gun. Last time I checked, my cell phone don't look nothing like no gun. It's too wide and it's too flat. I'm just saying. So let alone an AK-47, he wouldn't have made it. He would not have made it. Joe says, I didn't bother to focus on this trial because the fake tears. And like Nana said, once the weapon was thrown out, he was walking away scot-free. Right. I mean, I said, is that the first time in history a felon on trial for double murder was allowed to pick his juror? That I know of. I've never known anybody else, a person on trial for murder, to be able to pick their own jury. I ain't never known that. But then again, like Joe said, his dad was a judge. So because his dad was a judge, he knew how to groom him on who to pick. So Joe says, exactly, Nana. Who picks their own jury for double murder? That was a sign alone he was walking. His father made that happen by coaching him, giving him what to do. He knows the law. Absolutely. He knows the loopholes. He knows how to say certain things and get away with it. You can say, I was threatened. I felt for my safety. Really? So I decided to just walk down the street? Like, that's crazy. Oh, you got too close to me. I felt threatened. What? No, you went with a purpose. That boy went with a purpose. Because there's no other reason why you're from Illinois and you go to Wisconsin with an AK-47 to a Black Lives Matter rally and you got pictures of you in Klan gear. Now you tell me what your purpose was, because I don't think you went to go make friends. I don't think you went to go chant Black Lives Matter. I'm just saying, maybe it's just me, but I don't think he went to go make friends. And I'm sure his daddy, the judge, knew he was going to, because that's probably why he wasn't in the car with him when his mama dropped him off. Because Illinois to Wisconsin is a minimum of an hour and a half, depending on where you going in Wisconsin. Some places it's 3 hours. So that was an intentional drive. It wasn't to go see relatives. That was an intentional drive to go cause harm and to do as much damage as possible. That's what that was. It was just, Janetta says, I saw a post that already closing shops early and Home Depot in the city has barriers blocking the entrance. And so it begins, but hopefully not. I mean, if it does, it does. I mean, look at what happened in Ferguson. They tore that place down. But we're talking about Wisconsin. I don't really think that Wisconsin is, they really probably could care less. Wisconsin is not a state that exactly cares a lot. Yep, Bobby says their lives meant nothing is exactly what this case is telling us. It does. Because here's the thing. How do you explain this? How do you explain to the young men who lost their lives? How do you explain this to their parents? How do you explain to them that your son lost his life because someone wanted to intentionally cause as much harm and as much damage to as many people as possible? And because he didn't get to cause the carnage that he wanted to, he felt threatened. And he was just, it was just so much. Really? No, not at all. Yep. Lisa says it's rules for whites and rules for black. It is. It absolutely is. Again, like I said, had he been the opposite color, there we wouldn't have been doing all this. That it wouldn't even been a question at all. Like AK alone, black AK, done. Would have been done. You wouldn't have to worry about nobody shooting him because if he showed up at a Klan rally, all of them packing. Because all of them are members of the NRA. All of them. They got stock in Smith and Wesson. Guaranteed. Okay? Steel plated, gold plated. They packing. They don't care if it conceal or carry nothing. They ain't concealing nothing. They just carrying. And we know who brought them back out in full force. Recruiting. Agent Orange himself. Right. It just, she said, that's exactly right. My phone is too glittery and too pretty to be a gun. Like, how do you mistake a cell phone, like even a print of a cell phone for a gun? Like, I look at my cell phone. Ain't nowhere in the world you can mistake my cell phone, a print in my shirt, even in my hoodie. There's no way you can mistake my phone for a gun. It's too wide to be the barrel of a gun. Any gun. Like, that's absolutely crazy. But these are the excuses that are used. Oh, well, he lynched. Well, he reached for something. Let me tell you something. If he got on skinny jeans and he reached for his pocket, I guarantee you ain't no gun in it. I'm just saying, because they can barely fit credit cards and IDs in skinny jeans, okay? And if you got a gun in the skinny jean pocket, baby, you doing good. Because you can't even hide a 22 in them jeans. I'm just saying. Like, that's crazy. But yet again, that is the country that we're living in. That's what we're living in. You can't walk down the street with hoodies on because people feel threatened and unsafe. A hoodie is considered threatening. A hood, really? Considered threatening? But if it's white with holes in it, it ain't threatening, no, right? It's not threatening if it covers your whole face and got the holes in the eyes. Then it's not threatening. But it's threatening if it's on someone that looks like me. The society and the country we live in. But yet we're supposed to be the land of the free. We're the land of the free, though, right? But this is what we're dealing with. These are the things that we're dealing with. We're telling people that it's okay. Joe says, come on now. Black men get more time for carrying weed and he walks on double murder. If that doesn't prove the system doesn't work for us, period. Got another example for you. So we all know how Trayvon Martin, his killer got off, right? But then there was another young lady who a man broke into her house and she shot and killed him in her home. He broke in her home and he had a gun. Okay. She was home alone. She had a gun in her home and she shot him and killed him. And do you know they charged her with murder? And they put her in jail. So stand your ground didn't work for her in her own home because she was black. But Stand Your Ground worked for George Zimmerman when he shot Trayvon Martin. Tell me how this country's justice system works. Tell me how that works. Someone can break into your house and try to kill you, and you don't have the right to defend yourself. But you have the right to defend yourself against a child in a hoodie with Skittles and a pop. Let that sink in. Absolutely crazy. That's absolutely crazy, the society we live in. But that's what we are. And the things that we deal with like that, and yet people are up in arms about the fact that they have to wear a mask. You you infringed upon my civil rights and my civil liberties. Really? A mask? Okay. All right. Lisa said he took lives and God will fix it. Trust me, his day is coming. Oh, absolutely. She, right, Bobby. She said, how could he feel threatening? He had the rifle. Hey, Bev, it's good to see you. You know, it's Bev says, we're the people that were killed. Black? No, the people who were killed were actually, I believe they were white. The people he killed. Joe says, man, the only thing I care about today is that Kamala Harris became president for 85 minutes, breaking history as the first woman as president. Hey, come on now. Some good news in the midst of all this garbage. Yes, come on, Kamala Harris. Yes. First black female president. Yes. I'm sure that pissed some people off. But guess what? It was exciting. Joe says a black man with an AK rifle would have been taken down by SWAT at the march, even with the concealed card. He wouldn't have made it to trial. They would have called him a gang member. Absolutely. Oh, it doesn't take, here's the thing. It doesn't take much for them to label you as a gang member. One thing I have learned, even dealing with police in general, when I was growing my hair out, when I would shave it like completely bald and I would like have no hair, um, I learned the different techniques and tactics that they take when they pull you over. So one thing that I learned and that I noticed was when I would have my hair shaved completely bald and it would be like in a fade really low, instead of approaching the car head on, one officer would come this way and stand where he could see in my back window to my driver's side. This officer would come out and go around and then come up to the window when they thought I was a man, a black man at that. He would come out and around, and he would have his hand on his hip, and he would come out and around so that he could see my side profile. So when he approached the car, he would have seen the back of my head, the side of my face, and finally the front when he gets to the front. But they do that because it's supposed to be a precaution. Now, when I have hair and it's up a little bit like this, and I have my big mohawk and all that growing, and I have my big earrings on, and they can see that it's a woman, they walk straight to the vehicle. I noticed that. I never mentioned it, but I noticed it. And I didn't say a word, but it was something that I would notice. And because of where I live at, I don't know what it is, but for some reason, they always pull people over in front of my house. And anytime I see police officers pulling over a car full of young men, I stand in my window and I watch. Because here's the thing. They need to be held accountable. They need to be held accountable for their actions. Just like we need to be held accountable for our actions too. Now, I'm not saying that we're always right. I'm not saying they're always wrong. I'm saying people need to be held accountable for their actions in general. Period. Wrong is wrong. right is right. There is no gray in between wrong and right. There's no gray area. It's either wrong or it's right. There is no gray. Joe says this little boy literally said he feared for his life that they were going to take the rifle and kill him, but he has a loaded rifle and shot not one, but two people. Kyle Rittenhouse, murderer. Isn't it? So he killed the two, and then the third victim is I think he's paralyzed. Is he paralyzed? I know he has some severe repercussions from that bullet wound that he suffered. I do know that. Bobby says I find the white hoods more threatening than anything else. Absolutely. Absolutely. Anytime you live in a society and a country that is not willing to label Ku Klux Klan as a terroristic organization, but lists Black Lives Matter on the same terroristic list as the Taliban. Am I the only one that sees a problem with that? Am I the only one that sees that there's something wrong with that picture? Like, that's absolutely crazy. That you have a history of an organization that kidnaps, tortures, rapes women, dismembers people, a history, and they're not a terroristic organization because they have peaceful protests. Lynch mobs are peaceful protests now? That's what we calling them? Oh, okay then. Absolutely. Joe says a black woman was arrested and did time for shooting a warning shot and did not kill anybody. She sure did. She absolutely did. There's different rules for us. Yep. Joe says the Klan sits behind the bench that puts people on those lists. Why would they be put on there? Here's the thing. One thing I've learned is, you know, it used to be the Klan was a secret organization. You never knew who was a member. You never knew any of that. Now, they wear it proudly, the same way they display that Confederate flag. The same way. People who don't see anything wrong with displaying that Confederate flag, or they fly that Confederate flag proudly, those are the people I keep my eye on and look at sideways. Because they're telling you who they are. They're displaying who they are. The Klan has now infiltrated almost every single aspect of power in this country. Almost every single aspect. Because now they're senators, they're governors, they're lawmakers, they're legislators, they're lawyers, they're judges. They have literally infiltrated every single level of power, all the way to the White House. All the way to the White House. The highest power in the country. And they've infiltrated that. So just imagine, they don't hide behind them hoods no more because they don't have to. They don't have to. They're the ones who make the laws to try to keep us in our place. They're the ones that own the banks to make sure that you don't get that business loan that you need or that you want. They're the ones who own the buildings when you're trying to buy those properties or you're trying to rent those spaces for your small business. They're in almost every single aspect of where they need to be to make things go their way. Joe says when Cheeto became president, they did everything in their power to almost give him Cyclops. Yep. He probably secretly got it. Of course, they let this boy walk. It was set up to. Of course, he's one of them. He's one of their next generations. Bobby says, and the KKK designed their outfits to look like ghosts, thinking that they would be scary to slaves. History lesson. When you look at what's happening now and you look back at different events in history, to me, just my opinion, our country was always sort of divided. It was always kind of like a little fine line. To me, it was always kind of like that fine line was kind of always there. It was always kind of like a gray area, kind of like. Um, but when Agent Orange got into office, he erased that gray area. He completely erased that gray area. I was like, hey, come on out. Come on. Come on out, guys. Let's have it. You guys got it. You can have it. What do you want? You got it. You want the Senate? You can have it. Like, you want the judicial system? You can have it. Like, he literally put them in the positions that they're in and make them feel like they didn't have to hide anymore. Let me tell you something. Chicago is one of the most corrupt when it comes to we've had more governors go to jail. Okay, I'm dead serious. We have had a lot of governors. We probably have a governor's wing at this point, like in our federal prison here. We probably have like a whole just governor's wing. So like towards the end of your term, you already know where you gonna go, how much time you gonna serve. Okay, like we had when President Obama and his seat became vacant. When he became president, his seat became vacant. We had a governor. He went to jail for trying to sell his seat. Okay. In addition to him going to jail, also included in that was what's his name? Jesse Jackson Jr. So you had Rod Blagojevich and Jesse Jackson Jr., right? So they talked about this money and this cover up. Now, they didn't want to send Rod Blagojevich's wife to jail because she had small children and she had to worry and take care of her children and she just couldn't do jail. She just couldn't, that was just something that she just couldn't do. She was just so fragile and she had the children and it was just it was a lot. But when it came to Jesse Jackson Jr., they was like, okay, so who's serving first, you or your wife? What we doing? Say what? Oh, she ain't got to serve. But she do. She spent that money just like he did. So if she going, she need to go. Like, it's not set up for us to succeed. It's not. Like, and it's not going to change. People expected Obama to come in 8 years and fix a system that had been rigged and broken for hundreds of years. He's supposed to fix everything from 1776. I'm just saying. So he was supposed to fix everything from 1776 all the way to 2008. He was supposed to fix all that in 8 years. Like, I'm trying to figure out how that's supposed to work. People are not being realistic. And that's the sad part. People were not being realistic to the fact that he was the first Black president. He was coming in under all of that stuff. Everything that was broken, everything that was wrong, misaligned. He couldn't fix all that in 8 years at all. And now you got Agent Orange trying to get back in? Baby, I would move to England. That I will renounce my citizenship. Like, Like, oh, you say, here you go. You want my passport, my ID, driver's license. You want it all? Okay. You can have that. You can have that. I'm just gonna apply for citizenship over here. Okay. I'm just gonna go to London. Bev, I'm gonna take you, me and you going to London, okay? We're gonna stay over there. Cause if he get in again, oh, you can forget about it. He already let him loose. So if he gets back in, oh, mm-mm. Absolutely. It's no, not gonna work. Joe says exactly, Bobby, and they changed them to suits, judges' robes, and police uniforms. Look at the police chief. I think he's the president of the union of the police union. Like he is literally the fact that we have a black mayor. She's black, she's a female, and she's gay. He hates everything about her, every single thing. So everything that she asks for and everything she tells him to do, he sends her the big middle finger every time. Like, screw you and what you talking about. Like, these are the examples that we're getting from the people in power. The people in power. Like, I cannot. I cannot. Joe says Cheeto had the same surgery Biden did and refused to transfer power to Pence because he was scared he would erase what he did. Joe says Jesse Jackson Jr. even tried to claim mental illness to get off. He did. And it was like, no. They was like, you can serve, and then your wife can serve. It was like, she can stay and watch your little kids while you go, and then you can come home and then watch the kids while she go. Like, that was absolutely crazy. They both had little kids, but they didn't care about the fact that they had little kids because they weren't the right color. They didn't care. Joe says it took Cheeto less than 7 days to change what Obama fought for in 8 years. He used presidential power to overthrow everything. Pelosi couldn't stop him. She couldn't. He got rid of the healthy lunch. They had started serving like better food in the kids' cafeterias where they were getting vegetables. They were getting like instead of them chicken nuggets and hot dogs and stuff, they were actually getting stuff like baked chicken and green beans and mashed potatoes. Like they were getting a more healthy and nutritious meal that was more sustainable, not the junk that they had been getting. And he completely erased every single initiative that had Obama's name on it because of the simple fact that he was trying to erase Obama from history. But no matter how hard he tries, he'll never erase Obama from history because he will always hold the title of the first black president of the United States. And there's nothing that Cheeto can do about it. He can put his greasy little grubby cheesy hands on everything and it will never change the fact that Obama was the first black president. It'll never change. Obama had more class in his pinky finger than that man had in his whole body. Okay. He was a reality star. He was somebody who bankrupted every business that he owned. He is an example of how America screws people over because that's what he did in his businesses. He screwed people over by filing bankruptcy and not telling people that he filing bankruptcy. And then he would close down businesses. People wouldn't get severance pay. People would show up to work the next day and the business would be closed. He is the ultimate example of how America screws people over, especially people of color. Especially. Bobby says, Joe, you are exactly right. He said, we are not considered as humans in the Constitution. We're not. Exactly. Hashtag burn that Cheeto. Yes. But that's the thing, though. Like, we're still operating as if it was 1776 when that Declaration of Independence was written. They act like the articles of the Constitution can't be changed. You can eliminate stuff. You can add stuff to it. You can change the Bill of Rights. You can change the articles of Constitution. All of that can be changed. Just like, why does it have to be voted on that every 100 years that blacks have the right to vote? Could you imagine if that came up during Cheeto's term? Black folks having the right to vote? Like, why does that even need to be something that needs to be voted on? Like, why? Why can't that be something written that says indefinitely instead of if they have the right to vote for 100 years? Who's to say in 100 years that there's a president of this country that doesn't feel the way that Cheeto felt, and they decide they don't want to sign it? Then what? Then what? We back to nothing and nowhere, no rights. That's what we go back to. This country has a long way to go before they make things right and before this country can be united again. We have a long way to go. One thing I will say is when Cheeto was in office, it exposed a lot of cracks in this country. It exposed a lot of cracks in our judicial system, our legislative system, and our executive system. It literally showed every single crack. Joe says 1776, this country was born on lies. Before they even made a declaration, Christopher Columbus stole the country from Native Americans and killed them. Yes, he did. Another mass genocide. You can't find something that was never lost. They were called Native Americans. They were indigenous people because they lived on the land that you claimed you found. So how can you find something that was never lost? They wasn't lost. You was. So yet again, that is someone else coming into someone else's land and killing them for their territory. And then moving them off like, okay, you can go now. Thank you for the settlements. You can go though. Really? We still doing that. We're still doing it. This trial wasn't the first, and unfortunately, it won't be the last. It won't be the last time we see somebody show up with an assault rifle to hurt, maim, or kill people, and they get off. It's not gonna be the last time we see it. Not at all. We still got people sitting on death row that are innocent because of the state that they're in. The state chooses not to use DNA that they found on the scene. People are still sitting in death row and in jail. That are coming. Look at Khalif Browder. That young man sat in jail for what, 3 years? Charged with what? They beat that boy. They raped that boy. They had him in solitary confinement for almost a year. Literally no light, no communication. A young boy, 16. He was 16 years old because they thought he stole something. Really? Like, I look at all of these cases and it's like the similarities are all the same. Look at the boys from New York. Look how long they sat there. Decades. They sat there for decades before they were free. And then she recanted. Emmett Till lost his life because somebody lied. They lied. Nothing has changed. Absolutely nothing has changed. People are still losing their lives and still losing their freedom over lies. Over lies. Joe says, I always call white people who tell them go back to your own country ignorant troglodytes. They were born here, you dumb. Joe says they just released 2 people who were framed for killing Malcolm X when he was killed by the same people Elijah Muhammad said killed him. You know, there is no justice in our justice system. People who should be locked up are not. People who should not be locked up, they are. Before they legalized marijuana, and they still haven't released the people who are sitting in jail over marijuana charges. Like, there are people literally sitting in jail that have been there for decades, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years over weed. Really? Weed. But crack gets you 18 months probation. You get 18 months probation for crack. Cocaine might get you about 9 months probation. You might serve 30 days in jail. 9 months probation, no biggie. But weed? Intent to distribute because you got 3 blunts. But you can have a whole bag of rocks and still get 18 months probation. Now, what does that tell you? I'm just saying, like, Lady Liberty is not as blind as people want her to, as people think she is, okay? She can see under that blindfold. She ain't as blind as you think she is. She see everything. And them scales are nowhere near even. They not. They more like one up here, one down here. And I know you know who down here, and I know you know who up here. Like, same crime, different time. I'm just saying. Double murder, weed. And which one get more time? Weed. Make that make sense. Make it make sense. All I'm saying is there's literally no justice in the justice system. That's all I'm saying. Be mindful of your surroundings. Be mindful of the people in your surroundings. Because it don't take much. They locking people up on lies. They not doing no investigations. Not at all. Joe says you can have a bag of rocks and the pipe, even get caught smoking it, and you get off but smoke a roach and you spending almost 25 for a roach. Huh. Bobby says double murder doesn't even get any time. Right. But yet we still got people sitting in jail on weed charges. Went in when they were 16, 17. Now they like 40, 50 years old. And now that they've cut out education in the jail system, so they can't get GEDs no more. None of that. You can't get degrees in jail no more. So now you just working out. The world is passing you by. You come out with no skills. You don't know the world around you because you've been locked up for the past 30 years. When you got locked up, we had the brick phones. Now we got iPhone 12s and 13s. We got iPhone 13s now. You got locked up with a brick phone. You don't know how to operate one of them things. You don't even know what social media is. How are people supposed to function in a society that has passed them by? How? They've been locked up so long that they are now institutionalized. So the only thing they know is somebody telling them when to eat, when to sleep, when you can get free time, when you can make your phone calls, order your commissary. So now you're letting people out that have been there for decades that don't even know the price of a gallon of milk. Ain't nobody gonna hire them because they've been locked up for 30 years. They ain't got no skills. They can't do nothing. And because they're so institutionalized, a lot of them wind up going back because that's all they know. They can't function without somebody telling them when to eat, when to sleep, go here, go there, sit over here. No, sit over here. You can't do that. You can't do this. They're used to someone telling them what to do at all times. When you're used to somebody telling you what to do 24/7 for 30, 40 years, that freedom when you get out is hard to fathom. And they don't know what to do with themselves. They don't know what to do. So the majority of them wind up back in jail. And that's so unfortunate. So unfortunate. Joe says they know what's going on in jail. They got OnlyFans in jail because they have cell phones and internet. He said cell phones is not illegal anymore because payphones do not exist anymore. Not OnlyFans, Joe. Oh my God, I can't stand you. Bobby says, and when are we going to find out about Agent Orange's taxes? He was so worried about Hillary Clinton's emails. Come on now. Why? I want to know why he paid $700 in taxes. That's what I want to know. But not only that, he was literally running his company while he was a president, even though he wasn't supposed to. He sat in on them board meetings. He knew he wasn't supposed to do that. You think he cared? The same way, every time he decided that he wanted to go play golf, every single weekend, it was costing the taxpayer, I think it was either $100,000. I think it was a couple $100,000 every time he wanted to go play golf. Because they had to do Air Force One, they had to fuel Air Force One, they had to get Air Force One, they had to get all the employees on there, the pilot, the airline stewardess. Then they had to have Secret Service with him everywhere he went. And I mean, he was doing this every weekend. Couple $100,000 for you to go play golf every weekend. Like, that's what he was doing when he found out about COVID. He was like, no biggie. You could have shut the borders down then, and we wouldn't be still in the pandemic 2 years later. If he had to simply shut the borders down right then and there and got his ass off the golf course and did something about it, we wouldn't be where we are today. But because he was like, it's fake news. Not a big deal. Right. That's why so many Americans died, because it wasn't important to him. It wasn't important to him. Wasn't even on his mind at all. Joe says they have cricket phones, so if you have a cricket phone, switch to Metro by people. I'm still stuck on the OnlyFans though. Joe says Cheeto brought his board meetings to the White House. His daughter was running a business in the White House and she wasn't a cabinet member. Absolutely. I don't care what nobody say, his wife had a body double. You know Melania had a body double. And you could tell the difference in a body double because the body double kept the glasses on and would hold his hand. When Melania was there, she didn't hold his hand. If he went to touch her, she moved her hand. Like, you ever seen people when they try and hold your hand, they be like, she wasn't having none of it. She wasn't having none of it. She was like, she wasn't having none of it. She had a body double. I don't care what nobody say. If you look at the videos, you can see the body double kept the glasses on, and she would be close to him and hold his hand, and she'd wait. Melania didn't want to be in no White House. Hell, she probably didn't want to be married to him. She probably still didn't even want to be married to him. Like, ugh. Joe said nobody messed with Melania. She rolled her eyes every time he tried to grab her hand and look at him. She did. She did. That's why I say she had a body double, because her body double will hold his hand and will smile, and she would gaze at him. And when Melania was there, he'd be talking and she'd be like if he don't shut up. She couldn't stand him at all. So listen, y'all. I know it's Friday. And I thank y'all for rocking with me. Because this trial was just absolutely, just bonkers, and just another example of how our judicial system didn't matter. Hey, Val! Joe says Melania was the first porn star as first lady. Oh, she was though. She couldn't stand being next. She was though. Like that was so sad because she was the first lady that you could literally Google online, and when you pop up her name, like naked, I mean like literal naked pictures of her will pop up. She was literally the first lady we've ever had to have naked pictures on the internet. I'm just saying. So we had a reality star and a porn star in the White House. So I guess that goes to show you that anybody can be anything. Val says we don't matter and they don't care. Well said, Val. Well said. Novella said that's funny because my husband said the same thing. She was like, it was crazy because she's been in Playboy, all that. So if you got the magazines, you've seen the first lady. Okay, you get to see whatever he get to see. Joe says, congratulations, President Kamala Harris, first black woman to hold the office as president for 85 minutes. I wouldn't care if it was 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. She's still the first black female president. So come on, Kamala. Yes. Clearly, I'm not at home, so I couldn't have my fan. I had my clap fan. But thank y'all for rocking with me tonight. Tonight has been interesting to say the least. Next week, we got some interesting things going on. So next week, we're going to have some schedule changes next week. So next week, I am actually off work next week for vacation. So next week, we will be back to Monday, Wednesday, and Friday next week. And on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I will do a brief pop in because we will be having giveaways all next week. So tune in each day. You never know what we're going to be giving away. I'm not going to give any. Well, the only clue I will give is just think back to networking week. So we got some things from networking week to give away. We have some things from Clack and Shimmy to give away. And we might even have some things from Big Ass Workout to give away. You never know. So, yes. Novella says I shouldn't know what the first lady of JJ looked like. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Yes, big ass workout for life. So we will have a lot of different giveaways. I'm not going to tell everything, but those are the only hints and clues I'm going to give. I will be posting. Joe said, Novella, it wasn't all that to look at. I cannot with you. I cannot, Joe. So each week, so starting on Sunday, I will be posting on how to enter into the giveaway because we will have I'm thinking each night we'll do something different. So we'll have something with numbers, we'll have something with colors, we will have something about topics, but also we will be having platinum letters next week. So next week is platinum letter week. Ew, I'm excited. I'm excited. So yes, it is platinum letter week. So I will be letting you guys know. I will post it on Facebook, and matter of fact, I will make a video. And I will post the video on YouTube, and I will post the video on Facebook on how you can enter into the giveaway. And then just tune in because you never know what you might get each night. So we will definitely be giving away something each and every night next week. So Thanksgiving night is a Thursday, I believe. I think it's Thursday. Is it Wednesday or Thursday, Thanksgiving? I can't remember. I know it's next week. Is it when? Thursday. It's Thursday. So Thursday will be a short pop in. It will be like a 15-minute pop in, just for me to do the giveaway. It's going to be some amazing stuff, some stuff you guys have seen on here. So yes, so on Thanksgiving Thursday, it will literally be a pop in to do a giveaway because I want next week to be a week of me saying thank you to all of you guys for just rocking with Clack and Shimmy and for continuing to support us and to continue showing your love and for rocking with us each night. And I just wanted to show my appreciation and my way of saying thank you. So that's why next week is a week of thanks and a week of giving. So we will be giving away something each night. So again, Tuesday will be a short pop in night just for the giveaway. Thursday will be a short pop in night just for the giveaway, no more than 15-20 minutes. And then we will be back to Monday, Wednesday, Friday just for next week. And so I'm excited. I hope you guys are excited. I can't wait for you guys to see the things that I have for you for giveaways. Not gonna tell you everything. So, as always, if happy Thanksgiving, Novella. You gonna see us because I'm gonna see you in Big Ass Work Girl. So, as always, I ask you guys to do one random act of kindness this weekend. I'm just going to ask you guys to rest. It has been a long week for me. I don't know if you guys have had a long week, but just get some rest. Rest up this weekend. Take some time for self. Pamper self this weekend. Get a manicure, get a pedicure, get your eyebrows done, put some lashes on. Do something for self this weekend. Get a massage, something for yourself. And as always, be mindful of the words in which that you speak because words hurt and words can cut deep. So, as always, be mindful of the words in which you speak because when they leave your mouth, they cannot come back. And sometimes an apology is not enough. As always, in case no one told you today, you are beautiful, you are loved, and you are important. And I love you, and there's absolutely not a damn thing that you can do about it. And make sure that you guys subscribe, like, follow, and share on YouTube, on Facebook. And if you're on the other social media platforms, feel free to follow us on all of our social media platforms. And as always, I appreciate you guys so much. And I thank you so much for being here with me tonight. And I look forward to seeing you guys on Monday. I will see you Monday evening at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time and 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I love you guys. Mwah! Have an amazing night, guys. See you Monday.